I'm Clayton Burch, State Superintendent of Schools. Throughout the pandemic, each and every month, we've chosen to highlight one of our superintendents across the state. Each one of these 55 superintendents has had one heck of a job on their plate throughout the entire pandemic. And what we've asked them to do to make sure there's one caring adult for each one of our children, to make sure that we have schools consistently open, to make sure that staff and students are safe, it's just a heroic job. And today I'm very, very proud that we have one of those leaders with us today. I want to introduce our Superintendent Spotlight for January, Mr. Mike Wells, Pleasants County. Mike, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Mike, each and every superintendent, we ask them some similar questions. And I think first and foremost, for the audience watching and for those, tuning in, tell us a little bit about, first and foremost, Pleasants County. Just give us an overview.
Sure. Pleasants County Schools is a small system along the Ohio River. We have 4 schools and then a multi-county center. We have Belmont Elementary, St. Mary's Elementary, Pleasants County Middle School, and St. Mary's High School, and the Middle Ohio Valley Technical Institute. And I have to say, we're proud of our facilities. I had an opportunity to build the new St. Mary's High School about 7 years ago, and we have the oldest operating school in the state at St. Mary's Elementary.
We use terms coming into 2022 that we're on a path to recovery, or we're looking back that the pandemic's lasted longer, and I think than some folks have thought. What's this school year been like in Pleasants County, coming back and trying to get into that consistent day-to-day operation?
Sure. When this pandemic hit, we had a partnership with the State Department and our local health officials and state health officials, and our community got together, put a really good plan together. We were in school quite a bit last year, and we're very fortunate and blessed for that, because outside of the state being out, we were in 4 days a week and then went to 5 in March. But this past year preparing, we were hoping things would transition a little differently, and they didn't. We went to the mask mandate, which unfortunately didn't make some people happy. However, we kept our kids in school, and so I'm proud of that.
Well, I know that we review the data each and every week. We look at school outbreaks, school closures, and I think Pleasants County has been very, very fortunate to see very few outbreaks in our district.
We absolutely have.
But, Mike, we have partnerships with a lot of organizations, but I'll tell you, WVASA, a partnership that is probably one of the most important that we have. Being able to connect with the superintendents across the state, and I think that one of the important words you say is the ability that you and the department wants to bring to make sure they network and they're in this together. Now, speaking of being in this together, we're going to be in this together as we head into the next several months in the 2022 legislative session. If we ask you to pull out your crystal ball, are there things that you're hopeful for during the legislative session?
Sure. One of the things that we were hopeful for is obviously addressing the teacher shortage, and just the shortage in both service and professional personnel. And we've been working with the State Department addressing those in different areas, and how we can go about looking at certification, for example, for teachers, look at bus driver training. Those are just a couple examples. Another is to look at not only getting good employees, but how to retain them, and looking at that compensation piece. So that's really, really important. We know there's that shortage, and we're just trying to, we need those things to provide the best education for our students.
That's interesting. We've heard many of the superintendents that have come on talk about really the crisis that West Virginia is facing, not just from the pandemic, but prior to the pandemic. We've been seeing this teacher shortage, and I appreciate you brought up service personnel shortage. Even as small as Pleasants County, how does the teacher shortage impact you day to day?
If there's enough folks out, then that means we have to take teachers' plan times to cover those classes, and/or they're not covered and they have to maybe go to a central location to kind of be supervised during that time. And so it becomes difficult providing that quality education when those things occur.
That day-to-day strain, bringing up the teachers, covering planning, stepping in and going above and beyond to make sure that our children are taken care of. But on the flip side, what impact do you think that ultimately has on a child's education not having consistent
Sure, consistency we know is a route to success. And so when you lose that consistency by not being able to provide an adult in the same room with the same students, being on the same page with what's going on with instruction, then that certainly impacts the students' learning.
Well, I can tell you from the Department of Education, the West Virginia Board of Education, you absolutely represent that one caring adult that we hope that every child has access to. But I think, hearing you talk today, it's not only the one caring adult to our children, I think you're that one caring adult to the adults. And we appreciate each and everything you do in Pleasants County. And on behalf of the West Virginia Board of Education, Department of Education, thank you, Mike.
I appreciate it, and I really appreciate the partnerships that we formed with the State Department. It's been a success in my eyes.